Okay, so the only thing you'll notice is it makes it jump a little bit with the arrow when you're doing this, but. Okay, so Charlotte must have at least 320 points on her science class to get a B or better. She needs at least a B so she can play on the softball team. She currently has 168 from tests, 79 from her quizzes. She'll be taking her final exam worth 100 points. Wants to know what must she score to reach her goal? Well, maybe, but it says, this is one of our keys right here. She has to have at least 320. Can she have more than 320?
Yes.
Yes. So if you have the words at least, we want greater than or equal to. So everybody write that. This sentence really doesn't matter. I mean, she's a basic male softball team, but there's no numbers involved in that that are going to help our problem. She currently has this much and this much. So that's your initial amount, like we've already talked about before. So we already have 168 plus 79. And she's going to take a final exam. We don't know how much that one is. We don't know what she's going to make. But it's got to be greater than or equal to 320 points total to get a B. So if this is our unknown, it can be E, could be M, could be X, doesn't matter. How are you going to solve for this? How do we get rid of those other two?
Add them together. I mean, combine them.
Combine them and then do what with them?
Subtract.
Okay, so if we subtract, and I'm going to use E for exam, if we subtract this from both sides, what are we subtracting? 246? So we're subtracting, I don't think it means it's 247. So if you subtract, what are we going to have? 320 minus 247. So it means she has to make at least a 73 on her exam. Now, if you leave that answer, that's fine. However, you may see it a little bit different in an answer situation, and we're going to do some graph on this on your quiz later. If we say, this is going to be greater than or equal to 73. How many points does she have available on that equipment test?
100.
100. So she can't go over 100. So a better answer would be to say she's got to score between 73 and 100 to get her 320 points. Make sure that numbers. On your quiz later, I want you to draw a line down here because I'm going to show you what we're going to do. We've already talked about the shading, but if it's between 2 points, we're going to shade exactly that. So if we had 73, 100, it's got to be greater than this one and less than this one. So we're going to shade between the numbers. So when you see that situation, don't think about shading any different. You're going to shade greater than one, less than the other. So between is the best place, or best way to say that. Okay, let's go to number 3. I'm looking at these in front of me. We have triangles and obtuse triangle. So if we draw an obtuse triangle, what does that mean?
It's 120.
It means that the angle has to be bigger than 90 and less than 180. So if we want an obtuse angle, it means it's between 90 and 180. So it says the greatest angle in here has a measure of 6D. So from what we just said, 6D has to be between 90 and 180, because that's what obtuse means. Okay, so the whole angle, 6D, has to be between those. Well, just think about the middle. We're trying to get D. So whatever D is, we're going to multiply by 6. How do you get rid of the 6? Divide. Okay, well, what's 180 divided by 6? What's 90 divided by 6? 15. So that means that B, the variable we're going to multiply by 6, is between 15 and 30. Okay, so it's between 15 and 30. Does that mean that the angle is 15 or 30? No, that means that this letter is 15 to 30. So if we did, and we actually couldn't use 15 because it's got to be greater. So say we use 16 times 16 times 15, we would have this in here. If we did 6 times 29, okay, it would be just under 180. So this is what D is between. It says, what are the possible values of D between 15 and 30? Okay, so let's skip down a little bit.
I'll ask a question.
Uh-huh.
Where did you get
6D in your problem.
I thought that was 60.
It says 6D. So if we have right here.
Oh, okay, I'm on the wrong.
Which one? I thought that was 60.
No, 6D. Read your problems. Yeah, look in your problems because sometimes it's kind of hard to tell. So let's skip down a little bit. If you look at number 5, it wants to know for which values of x will the angle be acute. So what does that mean an angle is? Smaller than 90, but bigger than what? 0, because it can be 0, it would be a flat line. So this has to be less than 90. Can it be 90?
Yes. No.
Because that's right. Okay, so it has to be less. So this is what we're looking for. It has to be this, can't be 0, but it has to be less than 90. This is what we call compound inequality. Okay, it means that it's between two things. So we're going to work both sides exactly the same. If you want to split it up, you can say, okay, solve this one and solve this one. But you're going to do the same thing to both sides. You have to. Now, if you only did one, like if you only did that half, then you have the idea what you're doing. It's got to be less than 90. But I want to do the whole thing because you're going to see that, especially when you get geometry, they're going to want the best answer, okay? So on either one, how do we get rid of the 6?
I mean plus.
So let's add 6 to both sides. On this one, 2x is greater than 6. I'm going to do the same step on both problems. Because we want to get it between. And how do we get rid of the 2? Divide. So here, x is greater than 3. How times is 2 going to 96?
What?
48. So, x, we want to write this all together. X is between, that's what this is going to mean. It's got to be less than 48, but it's got to be greater than 3 for it to work. Because if we use 3, we're going to get 0, and can't get 0. So basically we can use 3.1 up to 47.9999, whatever. So if I was going to graph this, I'll put it out here beside it so that we'll, because you're going to see one of these on your quiz. We've got 3, a whole bunch of numbers in between, up to 48. We're going to open or close circles?
Oh, close. Yeah, open.
Open, because it can't be equal to it. So open circles, and we're going to shade between. Not everyone is going to have a low and a high But if it's anything that has a limit, and that it can't be something, then we need to be as clear as possible. If you only did this part over here, okay, you're on the right track. You know what you're doing, it's gotta be less than 90, but this is a better answer because we say it can't be less than 0. Okay, so now the next one that we need to talk about, flip it over onto the back. This is a big problem that is asked a lot, this question. So long my time is, 10 minutes, pretty good. Consecutive integers. What does the word consecutive mean? Anybody? If I say consecutive order, what does it mean? It's like, it could be. It means one after another. So if I'm going to number you in consecutive order, I'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever. Did you say that? I'm sorry. Say it louder. So consecutive means in order. So we want to be able to list those out in representing it with letters. So if I'm talking about consecutive integers, 5, 6, 7, 8 for example. If the first one is x, what would you do to 5 to get 6?
Subtract.
Add 1.
Add 1. So your next one is, your second number is x plus 1. What do you do to 5 to get 7?
Add 2.
Add 2. Let's go back to your original. What do you do to 5 to get 8? Add 3. So if we're talking about, like number 7, the sum of 3 consecutive numbers, we're going to use this right here. So on number 7, our first number, whatever it is, we're going to say it's x. Sum means to add. So the second number is 1 more than that. And the third number is 2 more than the original. This is your setup every time that we talk about consecutive numbers. And we'll talk about solving it later because solving is going to be the same thing. The only thing you have to keep in mind is we're looking for 3 numbers. So once you find the first one, find the next 2. Okay, even and odd. Either 2, 4, 6, 8, 3, 5, 7, 9. Doesn't matter which one. You're skipping a number. So if my first number is 2, what do you add to 2 to get 4? 2. 2. If your first number is 3, what do you add to 3 to get 5? 2. So even if you're finding odd numbers, your second one is going to be plus 2. Whether you start with 2 or 3, what do you add to it to get 6 and 7? 4. 2 plus 4 is 6. 3 plus 4 is 7. So we have to add 4. From 2 to 8, add 6. Or from 3 to 9, add 6. So if you're doing even or odd, you're skipping
Is
one.
that a 3x?
X plus 2, x plus 4, x
It
plus
has a
6.
3 and an x.
So the first thing
What are you talking about? Oh, no. That means combine them together. It's like a little summary.
Oh.
And you're combining them. So either even or odd, you're going to have that set up. Okay, so let's look down at number 9. We have 3 consecutive odd integers. So are we going to use x, x plus 1, x plus 2, or x, x plus 2, x plus 4?
X.
9.
X plus 2. X plus 4.
Yeah, if we're doing odd numbers, we have to skip one. So my first number is x. Second number, I've got to skip 1, so I'm going to x plus 2. Third number, we have to skip 2 again, so we're doing x plus 4. It asks for 3 numbers. If it asks for 4 numbers, you would do x plus 6. Jimmy, you writing these down? And then it says is less than. So it's not equals. It's less than 54. it's like a formula. It's not gonna change. If it's consecutive integers, it's gonna be like the top one. If they're asking for even or odd, it's gonna be like this one. So let's go ahead and solve this one. On number 9. How many x's do we have here? 3. So we have 3x plus what?
Plus
6 is less than 54. Okay? Now what are we going to do to both sides? Subtract 6. So if we subtract 6, we're going to have 3x is less than what? 48. Okay, 48. And then how do we get rid of the 3? Okay, so if we divide, x is less than 16. It's not quite done. What did the question ask for? Consecutive odd integers. What's the first odd integer less than 16? 15. So if my first number is 15, what's the second number?
13.
17, then 19. So that's the number you're looking for, 15, 17, 19. So read your problem carefully. When you finish, when you get to the end, go back and see what's it looking for. That's your starting point. The first x you want is 15. So if you want odd numbers, you want the next two, 15 and 17. You can double check it because it says the sum is less than 54. Well, somebody add, what do you get when you get 15, 17, 19? Add that together. Okay, you get 51. That's less than 54. We're good. Okay. So, this one says consecutive even, so you're going to be skipping. This one says consecutive, so you're not going to be skipping numbers. And you've got another one that's your angle up here at the top. So, again, we're talking about obtuse angles, so you need to be careful. So, that's what we're going to be, what you're going to be finishing, using the examples that we did. Go back to number 7, and let's finish that one. So, that's what you would end up with once you solve it, is 7, 8, 9.